Good afternoon, everyone. How are we all this fine day? It's another work in progress Wednesday, and I can see we've got a wee bit of chat going on already. I've got a few questions for you. First of all, lighting, sound, everything okay there? Just let me know, please. That would be great. But also, for those of you that were sitting on the wait screen, was the music the same music that we had last time, or was it different music? And was it really quiet? Hi, Danny, thank you. Looking and sounding good. There was no music for Danny. It might have just been really quiet. The reason that I'm asking this is that it was very quiet, says Thea. Was it the normal music, Thea? Trying to solve a mystery here. Oh, Martine says what music? It must have been really quiet then. Um, I recently, you think it was, right? Okay. I recently upgraded the version number of OBS, so it was just like a software update. And when it updated, it wiped the like the filming profiles basically. So I've got one specifically for streaming, so I had to like put it back together, and I could not for the life of me remember what music I'd put on. Yeah, so that's why I was asking. So I was like, I think this is the right one. I might change it up anyway, just for something new for this year. So I'll maybe I'll just pop it back on to show you. I might turn the volume up a little bit though. You can tell me how that is. Is that better? How did that sound? Was that any good? Very low, Martin. Right, okay. Right, I'll have a wee footer about with that later. There's a good Scottish word for you to start us off. If you footer about with something, you like mess about with it or play about with it. Very, very quiet. Okay. Right, well, we'll need to sort that out. Right, I shall make a note of that. I'm going to write that down because that's a thing. Now, very low on your phone is at full volume. Okay, is the mic volume okay for you though, Martine? Like when I'm talking to you just now, is that all right? Fix it. Fix it. Okay, great, good. Lovely jubbly. Righty McCoco. Oh, I am struggling today, like really struggling. YouTube has been super silly. Oh no. Chat didn't want to load. I've been fighting a sore head since Monday, and oh, that's hot. I've been fighting a sore head since Monday, and I think I figured out what's causing it. So I've taken some painkillers, which I try not to do if I can help it. And I just feel a bit kind of like worn down today. I've had one of those Wednesdays where I've just like gone from task to task to task. I've not actually sat down and just chilled out at any point today. And I've still got this weird aftermath for about a week and a half. I had this weird congestion. I wasn't ill per se, but my left nostril was completely blocked, and then it just started running like a tap and it would not stop. And my nose is actually really sore from it, and I ended up with a cold sore as well because of it. So obviously I am just a bit run down. But my left nostril is irritating me no end. It's just ridiculous. I was telling Thea the other day, the first time I went back out for a run after I was starting to feel a bit less kind of blocked up, and I was literally like a snot cannon, like when my left nostril would just not stop running. It's not good when you're trying to run. Anyway, so that's where we are. I'm feeling a bit kind of like worse for wear. But anyway, we're here, and I'm glad because this is the first time today I've actually got to sit down. And I'm very, very glad of it. Yeah, I sound a bit kind of, yeah. It's not canon. Oh, honestly, Danny, it's one of those times where I'm really grateful that when I go running, I don't see very many people, obviously being in a rural area. I'm running on roads. We've got no pavements or sidewalks. But because I go quite early in the morning, there's not a lot of traffic, and I'm so glad for that. Oh. Hello Thea, we see you, you're here. So who else have we got in? We've already seen Martine. Hello Martine. And I'm sure I saw a Susan floating about somewhere further back. Susan, are you in here? Yes, hello Susan, I see you. And I know that Patty is lurking. Hello Patty lurking. And we've got Mary as well. Hi Mary. So yeah, all the usual suspects. And we've got Artsy Endo. Hello, how are you? Patty's got a thing on her hands. No. The frostbitten snot dribble, yeah. It was slightly better this morning. It's still quite cold here. We're hovering around 0. I think it was just below, which is sort of average cold for us. But cold enough to wear thermal running gear. So it was slightly better, but it still wasn't great. I had a good run though. I had well, I say a fast run. I ran my fastest time for 5 kilometres, or just over 3 miles this morning since I started, so that was really, really good. I was really happy with that. But we're still very, we're still slow, we're still very slow, but we're getting faster. That's good. Right, okay, so today I've started off with, if I just flick this down, I'm going to have to reset all my settings again. I've got Mr. Chubs here, and I thought we could do a wee bitty on him for a little while. I don't know if I'm going to get the gouache paints out. I don't think I've got the energy, honestly. But I'm in this sort of weird limbo because I was saying on the Discord earlier, I know I said as one of my New Year's resolutions I wanted to do a lot more in coloured pencil, but I think I've gone out the gate too quickly because I feel like burnt out with it already. Obviously we've had the Cave Discoveries video, which was the Arteza pencils. We've just finished the Kirby page and we're going to be starting the left hand page of that pretty soon as well. I'm working on 2 short form videos and they both involve colour pencil too. So yeah, I think I'm more or less penciled out already. So I think in between everything else, I'm going to stick in a couple of YouTube videos that are not coloured pencil related, and maybe get a little bit of respite, and we'll do that. We'll do that. That'll be fine. Okay, so I've still got all my pencils here from last time. I've also, you see I've got my grey jumper with the stars on it today. This is its last outing. It is officially going in the charity shop pile after this because it's far too big for me now. But I thought I would just wear it one last time because I do really like it. But my cuffs are here now because the shoulders have dropped. So I walk about, and when I'm walking normally they're like there. But I thought, yeah, we'll give it one last whirl. Why not? Yeah, I heard, Jackie, that there's been snow in Florida. That's not normal. All the coloured pencils, yeah. So I've gone through, in the space of the last week, I've gone through the Arteza Expert, the Castle Arts Gold pencils, the shorts I'm working on, I'm using Polychromos and the Cad and Dash Luminance, and obviously we've got the Derwent Lightfast here as well, so it's a lot of pencils. It's real, but not in Orlando. Hello, Marilise, how you doing? Snow in Texas as well. Oh my! Oh, it's all getting a bit crazy. Well, I'll give you a laugh. Our daffodils, which are a spring bulb, they have emerged and they're starting to flower. Even though we've had cold weather, it's been really mild in between, and the daffodils have poked their heads out, which is a terrible idea. But daffodils in January, that's new for us. That is new for us. Right, let's get all my reference images of Mr. Chubs out. And we can... I thought I'd turned my notifications off. It's fine, it's alright. Yeah, okay, so... Basically, we need to get a little bit of ginger on the go. So if you remember, I was kind of umming and ahhing about some of these... gingery coloured pencils. So I've got the Cad and Dash Burnt Ochre 50%. Again, I'll just show you quickly here. So this was this lighter pencil, and I think I was mostly taken with the Mars Orange for a bit of a deeper shade as well. Yeah, so we'll start with those, and I just want to start putting in a couple of gingery bits. I think that might be a good place to start. This one's probably best. I'm just looking at my little reference images here. So I'll start with the Cad and Dash pencil. Do you want to zoom in a wee bit here? Yeah. There we go. Jackie likes watching coloured pencil videos. Well, that's good. You're in for a treat for the next wee while then, Jackie. Is this a first Scotland warmer than the States? We do have a bit of a storm on the way for the weekend though. Yeah, our weather forecast here, because I'm in the sort of, well, the northeast of the UK, I think the west's to get most of it, but it's to be ridiculously windy here on Friday and wet, and we haven't had rain for, oh my goodness, well, it's snowed, but we haven't actually had any rain for well over 3 weeks, so I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Right, I'm going to have a wee sharpen. Just get myself pointy point. I'm really sorry about looking. I'm kind of paranoid about my notifications. Most of you know Mama Gem's not. She's not doing so well just now, and I've got certain people, like when I put my iPad and my iPhone on Do Not Disturb, there's certain people's messages that come through, and obviously Mama and Papa Gem are one of them. So every time it goes off, I like jump out my skin because I think something's wrong. But it's a certain birthday girl who has messaged me. And I need to have a chat to her at some point, so she'll just message me back. Isn't the storm more high winds than cold? Well, say yeah, it's wind for hi Jan. it's wind for us, but it's to be wet as well. Okay, one of the things I really need to pay close attention to here is fur direction. I might have to pull up another reference image of an unrelated squirrel. I'm assuming the direction of the fur is going to be very similar to other mammals, where you have this cluster F around the nose area, but oh, we'll be fine. So basically we're going to start our ginger here. We'll start popping that in. Oh, and back to the coloured pencil chat as well. I've also got, I did a wee bit of shopping with Castle Arts. They had a sale on, I think it might still be on. And I was looking for the set of Harmonious pencils that we talked about, and they were in the sale. So I got them cheap, and I also bought their gouache as well because it was on sale for £10, and I can't pass up gouache at £10 just to try it out. So that will be another video, but originally I was going to do just a video on the pencils, but I think I'll probably lump them in together and do like a mini Castle Arts haul video instead. I'm quite keen on trying them out because just chatting to people, there seems to be very mixed opinions about these Castle Arts pencils. So I'm really keen to find out what they're like. I have a funny feeling that I'll probably have a similar opinion as I did of the pastel pencil set, because I've got that one as well from Castle Arts. But we'll see. I thought I didn't have an autofocus on. Yeah. Let's get some ginger on the go. Do love a bit of ginger. It's getting kind of difficult with Mr. Chubs. Mr. Chubs has stopped coming to the bird feeder. He's been bullied out the way by Vinny, who I think might actually be Mrs. Chubs, but still haven't confirmed that. So I've been trying to kind of like catch glimpses of him in the garden, and you know, trying to sort of observe, because I'm doing this now. It's like I need to look at him and see what's what. But he moves so quickly, and trying to get him when he's sitting still is a thankless task. But I was looking specifically at his ear area because his ears are dark, but I think his ears have got quite a lot of red in them, and I was just kind of like trying to confirm that, but alas. So I'm going to take this darker orange, so that's the Mars orange in the light fast, and I'm going to pop a little bit of this in just up round here. Ooh. Hi Elise, how you doing? Sorry, we have a brain dead store for infuriating my boss. I'm having to be sympathetic to him. That must be really difficult for you, Jan. Oh, Susan had an accident on the Castle Arts sale as well. Oh, I'm glad it wasn't. Did you just like accidentally fall into the website as well? I hear that's quite common. The audacity. Yeah, well, Mr. Chubs and Vinny had a bit of a disagreement at the feeder. That was a couple of weeks ago. And since that disagreement, he has been basically like cast out to the garden. And it's Vinny that's been coming to the feeder. But I notice that when we have a Vinny, we always have a Mr. Chubs in the vicinity. So I don't know if Vinny is actually Mrs. Chubs. But they sort of like kick about together. So I thought that was quite interesting. Now I need to find a slightly more yellowish hue to bring in for this face part. So let's have a wee, we'll have a wee swatch in the swatch book. I had another really good Scottish word that I said randomly and I thought, oh, I must mention that when I'm in the live stream, and I can't remember what it was now. Right, okay, light fasts. Where are you? Luminance. Castle Arts. Light fasts. Oh, dark honey might be the one. Then you placed an order, email just seemed to arrive. Okay, maybe dark honey. I think apricot's too orange. See, I kind of want something halfway between the yellow ochre and the brown ochre. So we might have to do a bit of shuggling about here. Let's grab the yellow ochre. And yeah, and the brown ochre. Because why not? Shuggle is a good word. Yeah, it wasn't shuggle though, it was something else. Oh, I remember what it was. I was talking to Mr. Jem about something, and he was saying, do you want to go and do this activity, whatever the activity was. Where's my sharpener now? Oh, my head is like up my derriere today. Like there. Yeah, so Mr. Jem said, oh, blah, 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 do you want to go and do this? And I was kind of like, eh. And then I said, yeah, do you know what? I'll give it a birrel. So if you birrel something, it goes round in line like twirls. But if you give something a birrel, you'll give it a go. So that was the first one. And then after that, I was cleaning the kitchen floor, and Mr. Jem had come in and he could smell the floor cleaner, and he said, oh, did you wash the kitchen floor? And I said, I just gave it a quick skite. Now, if you give something a skite, like you do it quickly, so like if you wanted to clean your bathroom quickly, you would just have a skite round with a cloth. So it's a very quick sort of once over. But you can also skite as in to slide or slip. That's also skite. So there you go. There's some Scottish words for you today. I thought I must tell the cavers. Build up your Scottish dictionary. Having a bit of bother here with this yellow ochre. I'm just sharpening away. I'm not doing anything exciting. Well, see, everyone's in agreement that the Scottish words, they're very descriptive, and quite often you can say them, and even if people don't know what they mean, they figure out what it means because they're descriptive. Right, okay, so we've got yellow ochre. Oh, I'm going to have to sharpen this one as well. I feel really warm all of a sudden. Just not quite right at all. Not firing on all cylinders. Hi Nye, how you doing? Nice to see you. I was thinking about you earlier. I thought you'd been a wee bit quiet in the Discord and whatnot. I thought you just must be very busy. I know you're a busy lady. Righty McHoho. Oh, that's a great point. Oh, look. Oh, it's pointy points. That's one of the other things I love about these light fast pencils. They sharpen so well. Like so well. Okay, so for this area here, this is going to be like all the way from the nose right up over the head. But we're going to intermingle that with the ginger colour and this one of the kind of the darker brown colours. At this point I could just put down a solid layer, but when I'm doing animal fur I like to start as I mean to go on, and because it really helps to keep the texture. So just like really short strokes, and try not to do them in a line as well, because obviously I mean, there are defined areas, especially when the fur changes direction, but you end up with like pencil mark lines. That's what we don't want. So we'll just get on with this a little bit. I think this is one of these drawings that's going to be in the ugly stage for quite some time, and I'm 100% okay with it. Fur takes time. I feel as well like this eye seems to be slightly too far up. I'm not entirely sure about this. I'm just going to double check this because I don't want to start with the pencil, and then for it to be, I've got a bend in the paper, so I'm not doing very well here, am I? Yeah, that eye's slightly high. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh. Some cleaning products are honking. Pure honking. Ah! Ooh. Been very busy lately, Nye. Glad you managed to catch that. I'm glad you managed to catch us too. Hello Ulrika, how are you? Nice to see you. Did you get everything done then? Finally finished my chores. Yay! And here you are. Oh, wrong pencil. Come on, Jem. I don't know whether to try and move that eye just now. It's probably better that I do it just now, isn't it? That was kind of a rhetorical question. I'm just not convinced about this at all. I'll fix it. Now, I need a pencil though, this is an issue. Well, it's not an issue, but finding the correct pencil might be the issue. Stuff keeps going missing from this pencil case as well. I think Mr. Jem's been in pilfering. Yeah, so like the top of the eye I really want to be there, but that's going to come out. Okay, yeah. Finally, all the garden animals fed and watered. Good stuff. Jan's boss has just said she should bring in some Jack Daniels tomorrow to cope with the dumb user store. Oh no. Oh dear. I feel like this is very relaxed today, guys. I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to be all that productive today. I say I'm just not firing on all cylinders at all. But we shall keep going a little bit. I do always say, to be fair, that the Wednesday streams is as long as you've made a bit of progress, but we're really all just here to hang out a little bit. So, yeah, we do that. That'll be fine. Oh, headache. Yeah, this headache situation, it's right at the back of my skull. Like, see if someone was like grabbing you in where the your little poke bones are at the back. It feels as if someone's squeezing in there all the time, and it's starting to come up round into my temples. One of the things that's been happening this week is I'm really, really busy at my proper job. Like, I'm doing a lot of extra hours, and I think what's happening is I work from a laptop and I work at this desk here. And I think it's because I'm sitting at this angle, you know, my chin's slightly down, so I'm putting strain on all the muscles that run up the back, and I think that's what's causing it. You team that with a couple of runs with a tight sports bra on where you've got straps coming over your shoulders, which obviously does the same, like it puts pressure on these muscles here. So I think that's what's causing it. So I'm going to elevate my laptop the same way as I've got the Cave laptop set up. I've bought a stand for it. And see how that goes, but I might end up having to put it really high up and then just get like a wireless keyboard and see if that works. And I think this has come on because I'm doing a lot more hours in the same position than I would normally do. So that's my theory, whether it's correct or not. But normally, I mean, I'm quite prone to headaches, but normally my headaches are tension headaches. And it's normally temples, and I can tell the difference between a dehydration headache, a hormone-induced headache, an exercise-induced headache. So I know my headaches, and this is, say, it's all right down at the base of my skull. But what happens is, if I have been sitting like this for a while, see when I put my head up, it spasms slightly, and it just sends like a shockwave of pain from the back of my head forward. It's mostly unpleasant. But as I say, I've taken some painkillers today, so it's not that bad. But when I've been finishing work, I've been trying not to sit in this position for obvious reasons, to try and ease it off a wee bit. But it kind of starts to wear you down. I mean, when I get migraines, which are hormone induced, Like the tail end of it lingers on for days, and there's nothing worse than fighting a headache for days. It's just, it becomes very wearing very quickly, and you're just like, oh, just go away. But that's where we're at, unfortunately. So anyway, I shall try my methods and see if that gives me any sort of relief, or even if it just helps a wee bit, you know, I'll take it kind of thing. But yeah, it's the position that I sit in the desks, like, you know, this height. So when my laptop's open sitting on the desk, I'm actually looking down quite a lot. So that's the first port of call anyway, because Mr. Jim's like, oh, you should go to the doctor. And I'm like, there is no point in going to the doctor, because they'll just tell you to go and get your eyes tested, which I do regularly, and take some paracetamol or some ibuprofen. I just have to figure out why it's happening. Right, making my way towards the top of the head here. I'm actually going to take this, I don't know if you can see that, the actual graphite line, I'm going to take it out completely and get a nice soft fuzzy top on Mr. Chubs. I've got a wee chaffinch that comes, and he's got like a little crest. I don't know whether his feathers are just wonky, but generally they're like smooth on the top of their heads. And this one's just got a bit of like a punky hairdo. He's almost got like a wee Mohican going on. And I've quite often thought if I was going to do, because I was thinking about doing like a colour cave bird identification chart, but like with the names that I call them, and all their funny wee characteristics. But that would be a fairly big job. So he just gets Tufty, that's what I call him. But is he very distinctive? And he's one of the ones that sits in the feed. He doesn't sit on the perch, like he doesn't hang onto the perch and eat. He sits in the seed like he's having a bath basically. And when the sun's out, he'll sit there and do a wee bit of sunbathing. Sometimes he shuts his eyes as well. It's very comfortable. And sometimes he brings Mrs. Tufty with him as well, and she's beautiful. She's got this lovely sort of pale yellowish belly. She's lovely. She's a pretty ladybird. Ladybird, not ladybird. Okay, there we go. That's looking marginally sensible. Now what? So he's darker round. Yeah, this grey almost comes up into here. So best be grabbing. So that was Moonstone. Yeah. That almost comes up into the side of his nose here. Need to get a wee bit more ginger in there as well. Pale ginger, so that's the luminance pencil, not the light fast one. Molting a wee bit here as well. I forgot to move my mouse over as well. Oh, see guys, you'll have to excuse me, see I'm just not on the ball at all. Let me move this over a bit. Right, that's better. Who have I missed? Arctic Jules. Hello Arctic Jules, how are you? Ulrika's got a new squirrel. Really small. Tom Thumb. Oh, that's adorable. That's where your paralysis was in. Oh God, don't tell me that, Mary. Jeez. Susan just enjoys the company on a Wednesday. Well, that's good because that's what you're getting most of today, Susan. Oh, Mary gets the same thing when using a work desk because it's at lower elevation. Okay, that kind of helps me a wee bit. Thank you. I say I'm generally quite well versed on stuff like that, and that was my first thought because I don't have a lot of shoulder pain. Normally when I've got tight shoulders, it's my neck that gets it and I get a really stiff neck. And it's not that, it is actually my head. So I think my idea to shove my laptop up a bit will work. Yeah, the top of your laptop screen should be level with the top of your head. Yeah, it's definitely to use a second keyboard and a mouse. Well, I always use a mouse anyway, Jan. Like I hate trackpads. I hate them with the fire of 1,000 suns. See, because I've got a wonky hand. It's not great, and I find it like when I use a trackpad I want to use my left hand, but I've always used a mouse with my right hand because the old school computers, like PCs that were set up, the mouse was always on the right, so I prefer a physical mouse with my right hand. But I don't want to start having this massive setup, because one of the things I like about my laptop is that I can close it and tuck it away, because it normally sits there and it's tucked under the desk just now, so it gives me more surface space. But I'll figure something out anyway. Even use a second screen, I'm not doing that either. I've got far too many screens as it is, and I'm not starting moving cables and stuff about, like, it's just crazy. Yeah, my sitting position's good, Jan. That was one of the first things that I had to, because of my neck and my shoulders, that was one of the first things I had to sort out. And this chair is the absolute beans. Minnie's was because of the coating around the spinal column being destroyed, so I don't think you need to worry. Well, that's good. Well, it's not good. Obviously, it's not good for you, but that's mildly reassuring. Oh. It's just a bit of a pain in the derriere. I did end up, was that yesterday? Yeah, this is Wednesday. Yesterday, I took myself off through to the living room and just lifted the laptop. And I ended up kind of like reclined on the couch with my knees up, so that the laptop screen was like in front of my eyeballs, just to kind of like change my position a little bit. But I was already like past the point of no return by then. Okay, so Mr. Chubs is kind of pale down underneath here, so I'll stop this grey just now. Around about there. There we go. Look a bit like a patchwork quilt just now. It'll all come together, I promise. Mr. Chubs in his chin here. It's very cute. Very cute. I'm just kind of trying to avoid this eye area. Like I just don't want to do it right now. I do need to find a very dark brown. Warm earth, what were we using that for? That was the ear colour, right? Okay. I need a very dark brown for under his nose. So like the little bit here. And a wee bit round the sides as well. So what have we got? What have we got? Van Dyke brown, was that what we were using? No. So these are all the pencils that I had laid out. Midnight black, no. Black. These are all blacks and greys. Mars black. Not helpful. Chocolate. Oh, that might be the one. Yeah, okay. So just start putting that in softly. Softly, softly. And he's got a little bit down here as well. This part of his muzzle's very pale, but he's got these wee sort of... It almost looks like a wee moustache on him. Mustachio. Art at Jules had some pretty awful side effects from a drugs trial. That doesn't sound fun at all. Hopefully this does what it's supposed to. If not, here's hoping it's helpful to someone else in my position. And a noble cause it is for you to do so, Art at Jules. Take one for the team. Now, if it's a pain in the derriere, that's something entirely different. Well, I've still got quite a tight hamstring, which gives me a numb right bum cheek sometimes. Does that count as an actual pain in the derriere? But it's been really good. Again, I'm really being careful, especially because it's really cold outside when I'm out running. Make sure I'm warmed up properly. And I'm happy to say that my gluteus maximus did not give me any problems today while I was out. It was just my runny left nostril. Weirdly as well, when I was running, my head was fine too. It was only after that it came on, but that's what usually happens. How is Mama Gem? She's hanging in there, Elise. She's got to go to the nurse once a week and get everything checked, like they take her blood pressure and her heart rate and everything. And she went to, I'm sure she won't mind me telling you this, when she went last week, She's been feeling absolutely ghastly, like she can barely walk in a straight line and she can't string a sentence together sometimes. She's just like, she's got zero energy. And when she went to get her heart rate and her blood pressure checked, they couldn't get a reading. And the nurse was like, well, according to this, if I've done this right, technically you're dead. And Mum's like, well, I kind of feel like I am. So they had two nurses trying to take a heart rate reading from her and her blood pressure, and they just weren't getting anywhere. So they called a doctor in, and the doctor was like checking the equipment and everything to make sure it was working. And the doctor's like, I'm sending you to the hospital because there comes a point, like when your heart rate drops to a certain point and the machine just doesn't read. Accident and emergency. Now, in the UK, you can be there for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. So they kind of steeled themselves for it. But the doctor that saw them there absolutely lost the plot because of the volume of medication that my mum was on. And he was like, you don't need to be on half of this. Like, no wonder you can't speak properly or walk in a straight line. This is like, that's basically enough to knock out a horse. So he has adjusted her medication and she's actually starting to feel a wee bit better. And when I talk to her on the phone, I speak to her, you know, most days. When I talk to her on the phone, she sounds much brighter. You can still hear that she's really tired, but she can have a coherent conversation, which a couple of weeks ago you couldn't do with her. She wouldn't remember it, or she would be too tired to chat in the first place. So roundabout road, at least she's actually doing a lot better, but she's still waiting on, she's got 2 tests still to get before they'll give her a surgery date, one of which she's going for on Thursday. So after that, 1 down, 1 to go, and then she can go in for surgery. She's got her little hospital bag packed and everything. It's dead cute. Like, she's bought herself some new pyjamas and stuff. And the other thing that she was telling me the other night as well is she's decided to sort of like, to sort of put you in the picture. My mum has always had really, really short hair. My gran didn't like long hair, and my mum's hair was very unmanageable because it's really thick and wavy like mine. So after my gran passed away, my mum decided she was going to grow her hair out because she'd always wanted long hair. And she just wanted to see what it would look like. And her hair is probably, it's a wee bit shorter than mine, but she can get it up in a ponytail or a bun or whatever. And she's made the decision that she's going to cut her hair short, just because it'll be easier for her to deal with after she's had surgery, because she's having open heart surgery. And to begin with, like, you're not allowed to lift your arms or anything. So she's decided she's going to go and get her hair cut. And I was like, you've actually thought of everything. She's like, well, I've been waiting long enough. So that's going to be the next thing. And I think it's going to be really weird to see her with short hair again, because I've kind of just gotten used to her having long hair, because she's always had short hair for as long as I can remember. So that's going to be kind of strange, but I'm kind of looking forward to it as well. I don't know if that sounds a bit weird. But yeah, so she is doing a bit better. So the phrase, because people always ask me how she is, and I always say she's hanging in there, like, and she's hanging in there good. She's doing a good job, so that's all we can ask for. She ran into the right doctor who cared. Apparently this doctor was like incandescent with rage. Like, what are they trying to do to you? Oh, your migraines go quickly. Mine take ages. Mine are like horrible, creepy. Like, I can feel one coming on a mile away, and it's good because it gives me time to like counteract it. And thankfully, I don't know about you, the only time I've ever had, like, where it's been really, really bad, I've only ever physically been sick once. There's a few times where I thought I was going to be sick, but I wasn't. But thankfully, I've actually only vomited from a migraine once, and I am really grateful for that. But it is possibly one of the worst things in the world, and I hate them. Thankfully, now I don't get them very often, which is nice. Right, let's see what we can do about little Chum's eye here. I'm going to have to deal with it sometime, it might as well be now. I think I've got the wrong black. Did I use the normal black last time? I think I did, didn't I? Sharpen this one as well, good grief. Sharpener's getting all the action today. Yeah, you are lucky, Mary. See that feeling of thinking you're going to be sick on top of the everything else. It is the absolute worst. It's horrible. Lots of pointy points. Ulrika only had migraines on the pill, so stopped that and they stopped. It's quite interesting. When I was on the combined pill, I used to get them. I'm not on the combined pill anymore. I do still get them, but not as often. But they were really, really bad when I was on the contraceptive pill. Jan, I was wondering if you were going to chicken out and give him an eye patch. No. Had that with one of the medications I was in hospital. Yeah, that I'm that person as well. I would rather be sick than feel sick. Absolutely, like 100%. I'm not really sure about the light source situation here for Mr. Man's eye, but because yeah, I'm just concentrating, guys. Sorry. Oh, good grief. It's a struggle today. Well, it balls that up. I am going to have to put that in with... I've made his eye the wrong shape. Goodness me. I'm going to have to put that in with a white Posca pen now. Oh well. Sorry, Chubs. We'll fix you though. It'll be alright. It'll be okay. Right, grab my moonstone pencil again. It's Squirrel for Jan. 32 minutes in for the first mention of light source. Is that a gem bingo? I've got a thing about it. You'll know it. I've always had an obsession with light though. That's like a thing for me. That's the wrong, like I'm really struggling here. What? That should have been platinum, not... And that needs sharpens as well. I feel like I should just give up today. Artijuice is a phobia of being sick. Well, that's not a good combination either, is it, Artijuice? Goodness me. Yeah, my mum's heart rate and blood pressure are extremely low, but the valve in her heart's obviously not doing its job, and that's why it's low, because it's not pushing everything through. She's got a bit of a backwash. It's a lot of complicated stuff, and that's one of the things that obviously I like. My degree's in animal biology, but a lot of this stuff works the same way, you know, in mammals. Digestive systems tend to be a little bit different, but most other things, it's the same, you know, it's the same nuts and bolts and pipes, they're just slightly differently configured. But my knowledge on heart stuff isn't great because it's not something that we tend to have problems with, particularly with livestock. So I'm not as well versed, so I've been doing a lot of learning, you know, the last little while, so that I can understand, because I understand a lot of the terminology and the mechanics of it. I just don't know names for things and like diagnostics and so on and so forth. So it's been a bit of an education for me as well. And also talking to Mr. Jem's dad, he had a triple heart bypass during COVID. That was 4 years ago now since he had it, and his was open heart as well, so he's been really, really helpful, and it's been really nice to talk to him about it because it is absolutely terrifying. My mum's in her 70s, and I'm just worried that something's going to happen, because if our heart stops working then we've got problems. But Mr. Jem's dad's been amazing as well, and he's like Mr. Jem, he's really laid back, he's really chilled out, so he's been a very calming influence on the whole situation. Artichoes, I think I have a defective body. Any chance of a replacement, please? Oh, if I could, I would. You'd have to be in the queue behind Mama Jem, though. I hope that's okay. But that's when I was talking to Mr. Jem just about the fact that I'm feeling like a bit kind of worn out. And I only ever get cold sores when my immune system's low, and I've not had one for ages. And say snotty nose, that happened. And Mr. Jem pointed out that although I'm not like distraught or overly stressed, the situation with Mama Jem is obviously bubbling away in the background. And he said to me, like from his experience when his dad was having heart problems, he said you'll probably find that that's actually quite a contributing factor to your stress levels, even though you're not immediately, you know, like acutely stressed. And I know that sometimes it kind of keeps me up at night a wee bit, you know, thinking about it. And I've had a couple of nights where I've not, I mean, I'm not a great sleeper anyway, but it might just be playing on my mind a wee bit more than I care to admit. But we'll just keep going. When I was colouring yesterday evening, I had a Jem voice in my head saying, don't forget to figure out your light source. Light source. Probably stress you don't. Well, that's the thing though, like we're actually, all of us, you know, Papa Jem and Mr. Jem and myself and my brother as well, we're all quite positive about the situation, because as long as the surgery goes well, you know, Mama Jem's going to be fine, like she's going to be okay. We just have to get her there without any sort of disasters. So it's not, I say it's not like an acute stress, but I think it's definitely playing on my mind, because you know it's my mum. I told her so she's not allowed to go anywhere because I'm not ready for her to go yet. I keep telling her, like, you can slope off quietly in your 80s, that'll be fine, but you're not ready yet, like. But yeah, Mama Jem's the kind of person, as I'm sure you can imagine, she's a bit like me, she's not going to go down without a fight, and she said that herself, so I'm optimistic for her. Yeah. Thea's saying that, you know, like, stress for waiting for things. Yeah, I get it. I'm not really sure what this fur here's doing, but I'll get some of that in there. I feel as if I kind of just want to get this, like the different patches of colour blocked in today. I feel like that's about the extent of my abilities at this particular juncture. We'll see. I need to do this ear up here as well. What's this ear? Oh, it's a terrible joke, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I might pretend that I'm sorry, but I'm not. Okay, so we want a little bit of ginger and a lot of, no, it wasn't chocolate brown we used, it was Van Dyke brown. I'm just going to pop a layer. I'm not going to go for any texture layer at the moment. Let me just... start to build that up in there. I just think about it as well, I don't think Mr. Chubs has lost any weight either from not being at the feeder, because that's how he got his name. Like, I mean, well, he's chonky, but also the food that we get, Chubby is in the name, so that's why I ended up calling him Mr. Chubs. But yes, I mean, he's quite rotund for a squirrel. Even when he's flat out, when he's running, you know, when they kind of look long and skinny, he's still fat. Not fat shaming. Some of my best friends are on the chunky side. But yeah, he's not gotten any skinnier for not having access to the bird feeder. So, okay, now a wee bit of chocolate brown in there. I'm going to have to do something about these pencils. This is causing me issues here. Chocolate. He's big boned. He's big. Mr. Chubs is big boned. No, he is really greedy. Like we know that. That's factoid. Yeah, he's got this like really dark, and I only noticed this in the photos. I didn't notice this. I don't tend to look at the squirrels' ears when they come up to the feeder. I'm looking at their hands and their wee mouths going nom 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 nom. Their paws are amazing. They've got so many little pads like that. I'm fascinated by them. Yeah, he's got this little like brown like really dark, but just on the very front parts of his ear, it's like a tiny little line of fur. Really weird. That's kind of cute. I like it. Let's get a little bit of ginger in there as well. Oh, he's freaking adorable. And then I've got this ochre colour for inside his ears. I kind of need a little bit of pink as well. I think this, did I not have like an oyster colour? He's probably watching where Mrs. Chubs' berries are stashing his necking them. That's quite possible as well. But he was the one that used to run from the grain shed at that end back to wherever it is they're living at this end. And his cheeks were like hamster pouches, you know, they're like out to here with grain. So I think he's probably just got a bit of greedy built into him. He's got like the Italian appetite, otherwise known as fat BASTARD syndrome. That's what we call it. Can't help it. Alright, because I'm looking at luminance pencils. Come on, Jim. Look, I love how pretty these pastel Castle Arts pencils are. Like, I love them. Right. So yeah, I need like cinnamon. That'll probably blend quite well with that. Let's go cinnamon. Cinnamon. Cinnamon, here we go. I'm not going to bother sharpening this, but oh god, I've made it everywhere. Yeah. Perfecto. That's just perfect. And then he's got this little darker patch, and it's just the veins inside their ears, which again I know a lot about. See, from ear tagging calves, I know how the vein network works in ears because there's 3 prongs. Well, 3 prongs you've got to worry about. So yeah, that's interesting but not useful at all. And honestly, see, for pub quizzes, I'm perfect. If you've got a really obscure set of categories, I can help you out a lot. Especially when it comes to things like squirrel ear anatomy, life skill that you should just have. Oh, that's terrifying, isn't it? Oh, goodness me. Anyway, served me well so far. I have been the winner of a pub quiz or 3 in my time. Not something that you see very often. No, not in the pub anymore, so yeah. I'm not very happy with this ear situation. I feel like the dark patch that I've put in is too stark. You know, it's like I've made it too much like a solid line. Doesn't matter, he's cute. And Martine's Fat Club is tonight. Boo! Boo! Cornish, as when he runs his belly looks like a pasty. Oh, pasty squirrel, love it. Could open up a squirrel pierced ear business. That's what we say to the calves. Like, absolutely bless them, because they're obviously, it's quite a shock to them, but it is just like getting your ears pierced, so it's a very short, sharp pain. But when we're getting them sorted out, because they're, you know, like they're only like a day or 2 old when we put ear tags in, we say, come on, you come and get your ears pierced. It's one of those things as well, see, if you've never done it before, it takes you a wee while to work up to it because you know you're hurting a baby. But it is for their own good in the long run. And obviously once they're in and it starts to heal up, it's just like wearing earrings, like it doesn't hurt them having them in. But they're very weeny, and I'm really sorry, but I have to do this. And by, like, you've got to do it by law in the UK as well. Your animals have to be ear tagged. But yeah, that's it. The first time you have to do that, you're like, oh my god, you're so tiny, I'm so sorry. But most of them take it like a champion. Like, most of them are really, really good. You do get one really dramatic one every now and then, and it tends to be the massive bull calves. See the ones that come out, like that you have to basically get a shoehorn to get them out, and they're like, they look like a 3-month-old calf. They're the ones that are always dramatic. It's the big chunky ones that are like, ah! And you're like, oh, stop it. The boys are so much more dramatic than the girls, like they really are. That goes with that for everything. There is usually the boys that cause the problems. The girls seem to take things in their stride a bit better. That's a gross generalisation, but I've worked with a lot of cows, so I'd like to think that my viewpoint on that's fairly accurate. What would you guys take with you for a travel case of art supplies? Oh, that's a terrible question. I tend to overpack and end up with stuff I don't want or need with the stuff I'd love to have being at home. Yeah, okay. Here's what I would have. Basically, my rule is for going away, if it fits in this pencil case, I can take it, and I'm not allowed to take anything outside of that. So like Miri, I would take a set of 12 pencils, but I would take watercolour pencils and take a water brush full of water, and that way you can swish things about if you so please. I would also have a water-soluble graphite pencil for that reason as well. And then I would have, what else would I have? Ink wise, again, well, this is stuff I've already got. I'll show you this just to see what you think. I mean, you've probably seen all this before. I've got one of these Pentel brush pens. These are fabby. I love them. And I'm not a big user of ink, but these are, like, you can do so much with them. You can get these really, really delicate lines, but you've got the whole brush experience going on as well. So that stays in my pencil case permanently. But I've also got a very, very fine liner and quite a fat fine liner as well, just to kind of cover all bases. So if it was me, that's what I would take. I'm not much of an ink person though, so other people might take more in the way of pens, for example. I thought that was worth mentioning though. You like those Pentel ones too? I kind of toyed with the idea of getting the set of them, Miri, because you know how you can get them in different colours, but I really like the brush on them, but realistically I would hardly ever use them. But the black one, I like to have. It's one of my favourites, so highly recommend. And I've had that one for a long time as well, and the refills for them are quite readily available as well. So yeah, that's another reason why I like them. Because there's nothing worse than buying something like that and they're like, oh, they're refillable, and then you can't get the refills. The blue one's really pretty. Don't go and look it up though, because you'll regret that decision. Okay, a little bit. This pink's a really nice colour. Cinnamon. So it's delicate, but it's got a bit of oomph to it. You know, sometimes if you get the kind of like more desaturated colours, they just look a bit kind of. This is nice. I like this pencil. I don't use my light fast pencils nearly enough. I think because I don't do a lot of pet portraits now. Like, I'd rather not do them, honestly. I'm not as familiar with these pencils as I probably would have been. I'm too busy doing things like Christmas cards and whatnot now. But that cinnamon pencil's good, I like it. Can't see the vein in his other ear, but I'm going to put it in anyway. Put it in anyway. I'll maybe just make it a bit less obvious. Yeah, so the main thing is that when you're ear tagging a calf, you have to, the 3 veins come out like this sort of shape, and you have to make sure you get in this space, or the calf will bleed to death. So yeah. they're because calf ears are big, they can't help you with that. You'll have to. Oh, buffering. Right, okay, well, everything's okay at my end. I'm not dropping any frames, so it might just be YouTube. You might want to reset refresh your browsers. Someone else said, apart from Thea, someone said to me last night that they were having problems with YouTube when they were watching a live. Although I don't know what it was they were watching, to be fair. But everything's okay here. We're good here. And we're back. We are back. Oh, that was something else I wanted to talk about. We've got quite a few of you in. There's a sticker sale on in the stash shop just now. I've got a box that I keep all the stickers in that are for sale, and I actually stopped and had like a really good look through it the other night, and I was like, oh no, this is just there's stuff that's been sitting there for ages, and I want to start another sticker series. So we're going to do Cave Collection Mark II. So the original Cave Collection sticker pack was the one that had I Am Not a Painter in it, and it's a pencil. So I would like to hear from you, because you guys that are in the chat just now, you're kind of like the core group of people that probably watch quite a lot of my content. I think we've already established we're going to have a pointy point sticker. I think that's a must. So I would like to have your suggestions for other stickers that you think would go with the you know, it's really a sticker pack of in-jokes. That's, you know, that's what we use it for. So is there anything in particular that you think would fit in with that theme? Is there any sticker that you would like to see? I know someone had suggested, what was the other thing suggested? It was pointy point. But, and I could like make a sticker with 3 bums on it. Yeah, pointy point is a must. A light source sticker. Find your light source. Do you know what the thing is as well? Maybe I should do that as a video. I should challenge myself to draw, paint or colour something that doesn't have a light source. What's wrong, Patty? Other hand sticker. Oh, the other hands. We need the other hand sticker. I'm gonna write these down. Hi Daisy. Good morning to you too. Right, okay, so we want pointy point, which we know about. Other hands. The light source. I don't know. That could be quite an interesting sticker, to be fair. A light source sticker. Oh, no sticker. Oh no! That oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Or that kind of oh no, like oh no. That could be taken in so many ways. Okay, fairly happy. I'm fairly happy with the coverage situation. I am not happy with this eye, but we are going to work on that. I do, however, need the black pencil. Some Scottish terms. I think we could maybe have a separate pack of Scottish stickers. Like a Snorri Jock sticker. It's getting worse, but that was going to happen. It is getting. I'm at the point now though where, see, especially if I have a night where I'm not sleeping very well, which is quite common for me. Mr. Jem snores quite badly sometimes, so there's an odd occasion where I've had a day where I'm in here and Jock's in his bed. So I've been listening to him snoring all day, and then when I go to bed to go to sleep, all I hear is Mr. Jem snoring, and it's just like a whole day of snoring. Nye likes tickle the paper. Just tickle the paper. Oh, these are good. You guys are the best. So Jock snoring. Just tickle the paper. I suppose, to be fair, I mean, I've been doing this for 7 years. There's like 700 videos on the channel. I suppose there's going to be things that I say a lot that I'm not aware that I'm saying that you guys are aware of that I'm saying. Does that make sense? But yeah, tickle the paper. It hadn't even occurred to me at all. That's really funny. Right, I think I've made his eye a little bit bulbous. Let's just trying to get it kind of back in proportion. I've got the pencil line here that is the top of his tail. I keep thinking it's a hair. trying to rub it off. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this is what I needed today. This is what I needed today. I haven't laughed all day. You guys are the best. Lots of light layers. Lots of light layers. Lots of light layers. A dodgy hand holding Jack Daniels. The dodgy hand. Dodgy hand. That's the other thing as well. You'll all be thinking there's something wrong with me. I haven't had an alcoholic beverage in, well, since before I got my snotty nose. So, well over 2 weeks. I'm starting to wonder whether that's affecting my immune system, because I've normally got some kind of alcohol content in there. 0 days since last pencil accident. Or I was going to say zero days since we dropped something. Me and my dodgy hand. I haven't had... I actually haven't had anything major. I mean, I've still dropped stuff, but I've had nothing catastrophic for a little while. Which is nice. I really need to put this highlight in because it's kind of like a reference point for me and it's knocking me off not having it. It's not, to be fair, it's not usually pencils I have accidents with, it's usually paintbrushes, isn't it? Oh, that was something else. I'm just asking you for all the opinions today. Hang on a wee second. I've got something to show you. Somewhere, yeah. Yeah, I've come across these, and how would we feel about a video on that, just trying them out? I mean, look at this one. Do you see this? It's like a spiky brush. That warrants investigation, I feel, but I'm only going to do it if it's something that you guys would be interested in and you want to see. Thea threw a fountain pen yesterday. Now a few green ink splatters as decoration. A few things have green ink splatters. That's a bit like my sketchbook and the ink situation, which we're working on. Okay. Yeah, see that's this is, now that I've done that, I can see how off the eye is. I need to bring this bottom part down. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's very obvious to me now. That's what I needed to do, because that's just the way my brain works. It's like, see when I'm drawing dogs, see if I don't have the nostrils in first, I can't gauge the rest of like the muzzle, and I don't know why, but that's just the way that I work. So it's funny how we've all got these little, you know, different sort of way markers that we use. That looks a bit better. He is like, because this is the other thing, and this is what I'm trying to capture. See, because he's got a really fat face, he's not in proportion like a normal squirrel. Like, he seems to be really broad across like this part, like between his eyes, but also down here as well. Like, he's not sleek, and that's why I'm trying to be really careful, because he looks kind of derpy, but that's what he looks like. Like, that's just what he is, because he's got a massive face. And this is always the challenge as well. Like, see, when you're doing pet portraits, I mean, loads of people do pet portraits, but there's a difference between drawing a breed of dog and capturing that specific dog. And that's why, like, if I can help it, I always like to try and meet the animal before I draw pictures of them. And it's one of the reasons that I stopped doing it, because I had so many people asking me to draw their dead animals, and the quality of images sometimes aren't all that helpful, and then you're nervous because if you haven't captured like the personality, it's a very personal thing for the owner. Like so many things that make doing pet portraits stressful. Like I don't like it. I like drawing dogs. I just don't like people saying, "Can you draw my dog for me?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I have to." Yeah, goodness me. Yes, please on the brush video. Okay, Spiky looks very interesting. Okay, good. Good. Jules, it's a rake brush, great for grasses, fur and hair. Well, that I think that would be right up my street, Jules. I think that that's something I need to test out, isn't it? This is why Miri likes drawing on the iPad, because you can easily flip the image and see what looks wrong. Well, see, that's like, I suppose the highlight is kind of like my flip alternative on traditional media. That's the thing that makes me sort stuff out. See, I don't know why, but it just does. Mary, do you have any recommendations on what brush to use to colour things in Procreate? Mary uses the airbrush mostly for filling in, but I've also got a whole bunch of brush sets that I bought from specific artists. I like the, especially see if I'm trying to work within line work, I like the airbrush but the hard edged one. That's because it gives you the most even coverage, doesn't it? I'll see what I've got as well, Thea, as well as Miri, because I've downloaded a couple of brushes as well, and see if any of them are of use to you. Okay, I think my eyes are a bit more proportionate now. I think we're still a wee bit out, but I'm not too far off. I'll leave it at that just now. Again, I can come back and tweak it. In the Discord. Thea can't English. That's okay. English is my first language, and a lot of the times I can't English either. It's fine. Happens a lot. The other thing I really need to do that I keep saying I'm going to do is I need to book a haircut. My hair's just getting a bit out of hand. I'm okay with the length. It is getting a little bit long, but it's not bad. But this part and the wisdom tinsel, I'm going to have to do something about it. So that's kind of like on my personal chores list for February. I really need to think about doing that, because I was thinking I should really have it done for my birthday in March. Like that would be a nice thing to do it for. Got a wedding to go to at the end of May as well, so I could maybe just go for a wee trim before that, and then everything would be fine and dandy, hopefully. His little mouth open. That's the other thing. See if they're sitting eating and you make a sudden movement, they they stop. But quite a lot of the times they're like mouths hanging open. Funny. Back in a moment, need to make a brew. Well, that's okay, Ulrika. I'm going to take a wee break here anyway. I'm going to go and just check up on Pip, etc, etc, because she hasn't been through to see me while we've been streaming. She's very quiet. Jock is asleep, he's fine, he's not snoring. So we'll take a wee quick break here and everybody can go and make a cup of tea. I will be back just shortly and we will carry on. I'm going to turn up the music volume as well in the way. And there it is. There is the dinner chat. Whole wheat pasta with sun-dried tomato sauce, topped with a dusting of parmesan, which will be eaten during Fat Club after you've weighed in, though I assume, Martine. It's funny, I used to call it Fat Club too. I only put on £2 over Christmas and New Year, so that was over like 3 weeks, which is really unusual for me. I'd normally put on at least half a stone at that time of year. And that's me lost it again now, so I'm not actually any further forward, but I'm quite happy. I enjoyed my my festive period very much, and I still ate lots of things that I enjoy, so you know, it's a kind of like a nice balanced approach. I am planning to up my running schedule now. I'm running 3 days a week, but I am planning on extending my Sunday run now, so I'm going to start upping my distances. And I just do it a little bit at a time, and I don't do it by specific measurements. But there's just the route that I'm running, there's a part where instead of like turning off to come back into the farm, there's a big long straight road so I can keep going. So I might only run to like the next telegraph pole or like the next gateway into a field or something, and then double back on myself and come back. But we just do it very, very gradually. So ideally now, whereas before I was just going out and just trying to get around 5k or 3 miles, 3 and a bit miles. So now I'm starting to structure my runs a bit more. So my Sunday run's always a long run. That's the day you always do your long runs, because that's just the way that it is. Roads are quiet. That's the best time if you're going to go any sort of distance. And then the Wednesday run, that's the fast run, so that's when you're pushing yourself a bit harder, you know, like trying to bring your times down. And then the run in between that, which for me is usually a Friday, that's just like a mid-tempo run, so you want to keep like pushing yourself along, but you're not trying to go hard, but you're not jollying along. So basically 3 different speeds for 3 different runs. And that's a method that's worked well for me in the past, you know, when I was running before. And before you know where you are, like, it doesn't take long, and your long runs are long, and what that does is it like automatically speeds you up on your shorter runs because you're building up your stamina. And that was the phrase my uncle used to use all the time. If you put in the miles, the minutes take care of themselves. That was his favourite running phrase. We have prosciutto wrapped chicken with pasta for my partner and new potatoes and veggies for me. Oh, that sounds good too. It's online weigh-in. Oh, good. Already done and lost £2 this week. Whee! Yeah! Good job. Love it. I find it interesting that you weigh in pounds as well. I had this conversation with the nurse the last time I was in. I had to, again, like, yeah, if there's something wrong with you, oh, it's your weight. But when she said to me, she said, do you know what weight you are? And I was like, yeah, because I'm losing weight, like I weighed myself 2 days ago. And I told her, and she's like, oh, we work in kilos now. And I'm like, well, I weigh my cow. We'll get back up and running. Oh, goodness me, let me try and fix this. Hopefully we should be able to get back on. Let's refresh, see how we go. Excellent connection. We're back. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm going to have to refresh my chat window now as well. How inconvenient. Ah, goodness me. Right, let's see what we can do here. YouTube being silly. No, that was actually that was me this time. That was the old rural internet there. Sorry guys. Just one of those things. We've been doing quite well in terms of connections and speeds and stuff, so apologies for that little bump in the road there. If anyone can see the chat and can't see the video, if you refresh your screen it should come back up now. Let me just catch up. YouTube, yeah, blah 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 blah. On a loop about weighing cows. Maybe we should have stickers while I weigh my cows. Well, I don't know about that. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, so yeah, it's weird that again, I don't know, it is a UK thing. You weigh your cows in kilos, yeah, we do. A hillbilly internet sticker, yes. But like in the UK, we really do straddle the fence because I tend to find that people my age and older, if we're talking about weight for ourselves, we will talk about pounds and stones. But like, see, when I'm talking about, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, most times for recipes and things, I'll work in grams and kilos. But when it comes to baking, now bearing in mind that I was a pastry chef, a lot of the recipes I have are in imperial, so I still use both. But all our road signs are in miles; they're not in kilometres. So, but when I'm running, I always work in miles. But the races, the shorter middle distance races, are usually in kilometres, so 5 kilometres, 10 kilometres, 15 kilometres. But then when you get to half marathon, that's 13.1 miles, and a marathon's obviously double that. So it really is a bit of both. Well, Jan's a lot older and she weighs in kilos for people, do you? That's quite interesting. I've seemed to find that there's definitely a divide. So it's quite interesting that you are the exception to the rule. Right, I'm just writing down all these sticker ideas here. Hillbilly Internet, I think that's a good one. I think we're going to have to do like a bumper pack of stickers at this rate. Yeah, well, it just depends what kind of mood we're in. Oh yeah, that's funny. You like to walk in miles? Well, I say I tend to run in miles, you know, because I'm running 5 kilometres, but for me it's 3.1 miles. And say my pace, like my average pace, I always work out in miles, like minute miles, not kilometres. I can hardly tell how much pounds are. Stones are just a big question mark. Well, the stones is just a UK thing because I know in the US they use pounds as well. A stone is £14. Ulrika's early 40s and uses stones for other people but kilos for yourself. That's funny. Yeah, I don't record runs in kilometres. I'm like, nah, I don't know what's that all about. It's like it's a mile. But again, when I was learning to run, when I was learning to run, like you know how to run, but when I started running properly, I was a teenager, and we really weren't as deep into the metric system as we are now. So that's just why I've always done it that way. That's just the way it is. Art at Jules' daughter is a chef in her 20s, working pounds and ounces for breads and baking, but kilos and grams for everything else. Yep. No, it's, honestly, Jules, that's like standard. See if you speak to any pastry chef, because that's what I was qualified to do. That's what I ended up doing when I qualified as a chef. And the problem is that, well, it's not a problem. The way it came about was a lot of bread and dough based recipes are based on very, very old recipes. And when you convert from imperial into metric, there's the margins of error for bakery items is very, very slim. And when you convert into the metric system, sometimes it just doesn't work and the bread doesn't rise or the souffle doesn't rise or whatever. And that's why I think pastry chefs tend to stick to imperial measurements. That's just from my experience though. But weights in America are different. Pounds are the same, Jan. They don't use stones, but they're imperial measurements for smaller weights because they measure in cups, and there's more than one cup measurement, which doesn't make any sense to me either. Yeah, it's confusing. Nye doesn't like imperial very much, as in Brazil we use metric for everything. It makes so much more sense. Oh, it absolutely does. Like there's no sense to the imperial system, but some of us are just dinosaurs, and that's the way that it is. Stones and pounds makes it sound lighter than going into 3 digits for kilos or pounds on their own. Yeah. Or maybe just bung it in and hope is my favourite. I have to say, I've done that more than once or twice, Jules. You're not on your own there. It's like height. Most folk in the UK will use feet and inches, but if you ask anyone younger than Gen X what an inch is, they probably don't have a clue. Well, I'm not Gen X. I'm like millennial, and I use feet and inches, but interestingly I do know my height in centimetres as well, so that's quite an interesting point. But yeah, for height we do normally use feet and inches, don't we? But I would say maybe the younger millennials might be a bit more like that, but I'm like the cusp. I'm a Zennial. I identify more with Gen X principles than millennial principles, but I am an elder millennial, so yeah, there's probably something in that too. Martin thinks the UK doesn't want to let go of Imperial because we invented them, back to British Empire days. I don't know. Well, the thing is, it's so ingrained, and it's, you know, it is difficult to make that change. If you speak to anyone that was around when decimalisation happened, they will tell you that it took a long time. And, you know, Mama and Papa Jem will tell me that as well. When, you know, even 3, 4, 5 years after decimalisation came in, they were still converting back to old money. Like, what's that worth in shillings and pounds kind of thing. So, yeah, it's just, you know, that's the habit and that's the way it's been. But see, I find it interesting that when I'm cooking outside and I can tell you what 10 grams of butter looks like, I could weigh it out for you. You know, I could eyeball in it, it would be right. So it's quite interesting. According to my kids, I'm just a crusty, dusty dinosaur. Oh, that's harsh, Jules. That's harsh. Oh, I feel bad for you with a crusty, dusty dinosaur. Oh no. Oh, goodness me. Right, I'm going to grab this Van Dyke Brown. I'm starting to work on. That's really tickled me. I like that one. Oh, crusty, dusty dinosaur. Harsh. Super harsh. So this patch under the eye, so like the top part of the cheek, is it's like a darker grey, but it's got quite a lot of brown in it. So I'm just going to start making that sort of distinction between these two areas, because we're very ginger under the eye. So I'm using brown for that, but I'm going to mix that in with quite a lot of the grey. I'm really pleased with his left cheek. It's looking really cute already because he is quite floofy there. But see, I don't know whether that's because he's fat or whether it's like his actual fur. Jan recalls the old money. The farthing with a Renault was a cracking coin. We've still got some. I've got a half crown somewhere that my mum kept, and a halfpenny with a ship on it. Everyone over 12 is ancient. Well, see, I get that from my nibblings a lot. They're like, oh, you're so old. I'm like, I'm not that old. Ulrika, one of my friends, got asked for ID for buying wine the other day by a spotty teenager, and she handed it over. He replied, oh, sorry, I didn't realise you were born in the 1900s. I have heard young people say that so often, and it makes us sound ancient. You were born in the 1900s. Oh, that's... Jules remembers breaking a tooth in a silver threepenny bit in a Christmas pudding and being told it was lucky. That's funny. It's brutal. It's brutal. Like, oh man. The 1900s. Oh no. That's the thing though, like I'm kind of like, I'm not bothered about my age at all. Like I'm not bothered about it. It's just a number as far as I'm concerned, and you know. I mean, obviously, there's things that make you realise that you are the age that you are, but I feel like getting older has definitely improved me as a person. Like I've learned a lot, and I think my experiences have really shaped me into the person that I am. And I mean, nobody's perfect now. Certainly, I'm far from perfect, but I've learned a lot of lessons, and I think I'm a better person for it. And that's something that just comes with age. And I'm a person that's like, I like to learn stuff. Like, I'm a person that wants to embrace things and learn new stuff, and I like to move with the times because it's interesting. And I think getting older set me in pretty good stead for stuff like that, honestly. But I'm not bothered about my age at all. It's just like, it's just a number. And then someone says something to you like, "Oh, you were born in the 1900s," and you're like, "Oh, ugh." But then again, see, I look at Mama Jem. So Mama Jem's in her 70s, and she and like my gran as well. Her mum, she lived to a ripe old age, but she was very young for her age, right up until maybe like 6 months before she died. And I do think a lot of it is a state of mind, definitely. And I kind of stick by that myself. But it does make me chuckle, see, especially when the nibblings start chiming in. We played Mario Kart at one point with some youngsters, and these kids thought they were going to beat us because they'd been playing it on the Nintendo Switch for like a year. And me and my friends were like, we were playing Mario Kart before your parents were even like married. Like, you're not going to win this. And we absolutely annihilated them without even trying. And I was like experience counts for a lot, and I'm not going to let kids win with stuff like that. Absolutely wiped the floor with it. It was hilarious. So stuff like that's really funny as well. So there's good things that come out of being old as well. That comment was just so unnecessary. Jules intends on being 21 forever. Anyone else hearing Bruce Springsteen singing Born in the 1900s? Oh my. Oh, that's so good. You guys are great. And the thing is, though, like, I wasn't even born right at the end of the 1900s. Like, well, that makes it even worse. That's funny. It's fine. We'll all be fine. Like, we'll be fine. I used to quite like, in my early 30s, I was often mistaken for being a lot younger than I actually am, which was really nice. Like, when you're in your 30s, that's a compliment. It's funny though, that stopped happening now. I was like, I don't know whether it's the lines on my face, like, because I'm quite weathered obviously from being outside a lot, or whether it's my wisdom tinsel that's given me away, but no one ever says, "Oh, you don't look 40." Like, Clearly the lad had a death wish. Patty, why do people call when you're trying to watch Gem? Get them told. The Audacity sticker for stream interruptions. Oh, Audacity. The problem with all these sticker ideas is I need to try and translate them into something visual. I mean, I don't mind some of them having like captions or, you know, like a slogan, you know, like lettering, but I want them to be mostly artwork, obviously. So we'll need to have a think about some of them, but that's something we can work away at. We'll probably do a wee bit in a stream. I don't know if I'm going to have a third week of working on this and the Gouache Cave. Might change it up. I will be having a Wednesday stream next week, so we'll figure that out. That'll be cool, and we'll maybe switch it up and do something else. Though I'm not quite sure what though. I say it's just a day at a time. Just now I'm so busy with work. Like, my proper job's taking up a lot of my time just now. But there's a lot of changes going on within the company. And there's a lot of like stuff moving about and people moving about and things. And as someone who has worked for the company for over 12 years, I'm very much in the position that I'm the only person that does the job that I do. There's no one else in the business that does the same job role as me, so I'm a bit of an anomaly. And I've often felt like a square peg trying to be shoved into a round hole. So we're kind of trying to navigate some of that, but it's important that I move with the changes that are happening, and it's only going to be beneficial to me. So sometimes that requires a bit of extra donkey work, which I am very prepared to put in because I like my job very much. I'm very motivated by it, and the subject matter is interesting. That's why I got my degree in what I got my degree in. So it's just, I'm having one of those sort of periods just now where it's kind of my main focus, and that's what I have to do. Like, I have to prioritise that. Because this week I really wanted to do a little bit of that gouache painting, like in my spare time before we got to the stream, so that I'd moved it on a little bit. But I haven't even had a chance to look at it because I've just been really, really busy. But we'll maybe change things up next week, and we might do something a wee bit different. If there's anything in particular that any of you would like to see, I'm obviously, as always, more than happy to take your suggestions of things that you'd like to see in the Wednesday stream, because I've got quite a lot of WIPs on the go. That's the thing, like, I've got a lot of stuff like kind of half done. So if anyone wants to see something in particular, please speak up. You know, your views are always welcome. I have to rewatch so I can hear what she's saying. Jan's finished, wee. Oh no, next week might be able to watch on the train. Oh, you'll be fine. Hillbilly internet, possum pedaling a bike connected to a computer. That seems overly complicated for a sticker, Ulrika, but I like it. Didn't we have the hamster for the internet? Was wee Squirrel's coming on a bit. He's starting to look a bit more squirrely. He does look a bit kind of patchy at the moment, but that will be a-okay. Underneath, we're more sort of creamy colour. Like, we've got this grey here, so this kind of like fades out into a lighter grey under here. But this part under his chin and then down into what I call the bib, you know, like the chest area, it's more of like a creamy grey. So again, I think that's something, just so that we can complete like the blocking in of the colour on the face. That's something I maybe want to figure out just now. Let me grab the... pop this out of the way. Let me grab this swatch book again. In other personal good news, that's the other thing. I'm getting quite excited about this, and I'm really trying not to get excited about it. The ongoing saga of having the extension built on our house, which again I've talked about in the streams a wee bit before, or what Jan refers to as the Lego room. It's not going to be a Lego room, but it will allow me to have a room to put Lego in. We've been struggling to get builders, we've been struggling to get quotes from builders, and it is looking like we may have a builder by the end of the week. So if that's the case, we've narrowed it down to 2 who have come out to see us, and they have both said that they can start work at the end of February. So I, for one, am incredibly excited, because this work was supposed to be completed when we moved into this house. Now, we've been here 18 months. So I am so ready for it, and I'm moderately excited about it because it means I'm going to get a new kitchen. The kitchen doesn't function as it is. I don't have a freezer in my kitchen just now. I have an outside freezer, and I have one of those tiny little letterbox like freezer compartments in the fridge. That is it. I have a temperamental dishwasher. I have an even more temperamental stove. So getting a little bit excited, but nothing is confirmed yet, so I'm trying hard not to get too excited, because that would be a terrible idea. Right, we've got warm grey, which I think we'll pull out anyway. It's slightly more beigey than the moonstone. Well, I don't know, do you think the moonstone looks more beigey? But I was actually thinking at the opposite end of the spectrum, because I was thinking about pulling out the champagne and mixing it with the moonstone colour maybe. Although, yes, because if we look here, look at his little belly. so let's yeah, let's do that. Let's try and find that pencil. The champagne. First 10. Jan's calling it the Lego wing. Did the prayers to the builder gods help? Yes, Thea, yes they did. But say we're not there yet. We have had a plethora of, like, it's something I just can't wrap my head around, but it seems to be the mentality in this area. We had loads of, like, we've spoken to at least 9 builders over the last 12 months, and they've all said, yeah, you know, oh yeah, this is our kind of job, because although it's a single story extension and it's to put a utility room with a toilet in it, we already have that, but we're basically wanting to make the kitchen bigger, so those bits that we've got, we're just going to put on the outside of the house and put them in a separate room. So it does involve quite a lot of internal work as well as plumbing and stuff. But we've had so many builders come and make all the right noises, and then we've just not heard from them again. And it's almost as if they just like don't want to do it. And it's like, well, if you don't want to do it, just tell us you don't want to do it, and we'll find someone who does. So yeah, it's been really, really frustrating. Oh, that's wobbly. Who knew? But I think we're getting there. But the last 2 gentlemen that have come to see us, do you know, sometimes, like, I've got a very good internal compass when it comes to judging people. And I don't mean being judgmental, I mean, are they a good egg or a bad egg kind of compass. See, just from working in call centres and recruiting staff for years, I mean, I used to recruit hundreds of staff. So I would like to think that my intuition is pretty good and I should really trust my gut. Anyway, that aside, I'm rambling now. The last 2, oh no, the last 2 builders that have been to see us, we really liked both of them. I just got good vibes from them. So that's who we're hoping to go for. One of the things that I use as a benchmark for tradesmen, and I've always done this, is how they react to the dogs and how the dogs react to them. And both of these gentlemen wanted to cuddle Jock, so that's like an automatic green flag. Shades of your last colouring video, breaking pencils. We're getting there. This is really crumbly, this one. Hopefully you will pick this up again. My internet is clearly not very happy this evening, but let's see if we can get going again. Hopefully you guys will you'll come back to me. If you just give it a wee second, Jan, you might get there. Hoping all will be well. I'm just going to check the internet speed as well. I don't know whether it's just dropping off or whether it's dropping down, like the upload speed's dropping down and that's what's causing the disconnect. I shall just have a wee look and find out. This is really unusual because the weather's fine and everything, and that's usually what causes the problems, and we've not had this for such a long time. Let me just have a wee look. In the interim, I have sharpened the champagne pencil and I've got a pointy point, so, you know. And, you know, I really appreciate that you guys put up with stuff like this. As I say, I know it's not very often, but it's very frustrating. Obviously, it's not very professional, but we've always known that this would arise every now and then, and there was a time where I couldn't live stream at all, so I tried to stay, thankful for small mercies. But I'm just running the diagnostics to see what's what. To see if there's any problems, because I can see what's going on with the masts in the area because I run off mobile internet here. I don't have a fibre connection or anything. So speeds are good, so it's not that's dropping off. And the masts seem fine as well, so I don't know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, the loops that I'm using. I'm glad that's entertaining you, Jan. Oh my, what can I say? Right, anyway, yes, so I've got my champagne pencil and I've got a nice pointy point going on there. Oh, Chubs. I'm really like going through the mill here. Right, okay, so again, we're like, what about, oh my goodness. I've just realised how lopsided his little muzzle is there. That's better. Right, okay, just rectifying that. So yeah, I'm basically using this as like an underlayer, so not necessarily a solid layer of champagne because I know that's quite difficult for you to see in the camera, but halfway between like filling it in and my normal flicky motion, so that gives us a sort of base layer of colour. So when we go over the top, because there is a little bit of transparency in these pencils, it'll kind of warm up what we've got. So there's these little what's the inverse of a widow's peak? See when it goes, or maybe it is a widow's peak on his chin. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty good there. Get that in there. And again, I'm just going to take away these graphite lines because I really don't need them there just now. We'll figure that out. When you're using light colours like that, it's better to take the graphite away because it kind of muddies it up. I'm going to need to get a new kneaded eraser. This is absolutely filthy. Blip, blip, blip. We've had 4G issues all day with our pop-up stores, so it's made its way to Scotland now. I don't know, maybe. The thing that frustrates me is that we are super close to Edinburgh. Like, I can get to the outskirts of Edinburgh in like 20 minutes. Like, I can get to Portobello, which is this side. And I can get into the middle of Edinburgh. If I'm driving and it's not rush hour, I can get into the centre of Edinburgh in 40 minutes. We're like just outside the catchment zone for the 5G signal. So basically, if I was to get in my truck, drive to the A1, which is the trunk road that runs from Edinburgh all the way around and down south, and I drive towards Edinburgh, I only have to drive for about 6.5 minutes on the A1 and the signal flips to 5G from 4G, and I'm like, come on, like we're just outside of quite a heavily populated town. Like, it's not as if we're out in the absolute middle of nowhere like we used to be. Can't you just push that 5G like a little bit further this way, because I really need it for streaming? But no, it's really, really annoying. And the worst of it is that some of the ground that we've got is really high up, like really high up at the top of a hill, and you can see out across to Edinburgh, and you can see like all the hills and everything, and there's no 5G there either. And it's like you feel as if you could reach out and touch Edinburgh, but no, you're not getting any 5G. You can have a crappy signal up there. Like, quite frustrating, but it's a million times better than what we've had before, so not complaining. Jan's like, oh, the road to me. Yes, the A1 is such a popular road. I've mentioned this before as well, but one of our offices for work is in Harrogate, which is not far off the A1. So that's a journey that I have to make every now and then. And Jan keeps threatening. She's like, I'm just gonna come and find you. But I have said, if I'm ever down in Harrogate, for those of you that stay in that area, I will let you know that is happening. We will organise something. But I was actually having the discussion the other day with the sales team at work. I'm not part of their team, but I work quite closely with them. And the new manager that's with them, he's very keen in sort of like including me in things, and he said to me, he's like, where's the nearest office to you? And I'm like, Harrogate. I was like, on a good day I could probably get there in 3.5 hours, and I could see all the little cogs in his brain going. And I was like, if you want me to come down, I'll come down. He's like, can you not get the train from Glasgow? And I'm like, I live outside Edinburgh. Like, I would get the train from Edinburgh. And he went, oh. But nothing's been organised, but it is a long journey and it's a bit of a thankless task. But I really like Harrogate. It's a lovely place. If you ever get the chance to visit, it's very, very nice indeed. I like it a lot. Right, I'm going to go with the platinum pencil. And I'm just going to start. Now this hair under here, like, you know, for anybody that's got animals, the hair underneath is much softer and downier, and it's not as separated, you know, it doesn't hang in coarse clumps the same, like it's very soft and it's quite smooth. And I feel as if I was going to stroke Mr. Chubs under the chin, it would feel quite velvety. So I don't want as much texture here, so I'm kind of still going that up and down motion, but like more of a scumbling motion, because the fur under there obviously is going to be a little bit shorter. I imagine it would be longer round here and like the ruff of the neck, you know, like underneath the chin. Again, just going on mammalian knowledge. But underneath the actual chin, as in where it's still attached to his face technically, that's going to be a little bit smoother, so less texture here. So just changing my pencil movements to try and mimic that. It's kind of difficult to see in the pictures. If I like, can you see what I'm saying? When you look at this fur, you can see the areas of separation, and these darker patches is like the undercoat. So you can see that it doesn't really start to separate off until it gets down into his chest, but obviously that's an area of movement, so you would imagine that would be the case. But this is quite uniform and quite dense, so that's kind of what we're going for. And these are all the things that you think about when you're, you know, when you're going for a more realistic drawing with an animal. It's all these little details that just make the difference, and they don't have to be hyper realistic. That's the thing. You're just looking to get that sort of the feel of it more than anything, and it's got to be done in very, very small increments, because that's how you get it right. I think if I had more patience, I would probably manage photorealism, but I don't have the patience. I don't have the time either, let's face it, but yeah. Thea says, I can totally see Jan standing on the side of the road with a sign in hand. Over here, Jem. Yeah, I'll rush down to Harrogate safe in the knowledge that Jan's not there. The A one is I don't know whether to say an old enemy or an old friend, but that's generally the passageway from Scotland down to England when you're on this side, on the east side. If you're on the other side, it's the M6. So the A1 and I are old friends or mortal enemies, whichever you want to call it. But yeah, you will make a point of it. I was thinking about, you know, because quite a few people have said that they would like to, you know, if I was travelling for work especially, they would, you know, want to travel and kind of meet up. And I have thought about it, especially now after all this time. You know, we've been here a long time, and I've gotten to know some of you quite well, and it would be nice to meet some of you face to face. Lovely chatting, guys. Off. See yous after. Nice to see you, Jules. Thanks for joining in, and thanks for all your chat. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday. Minnie's like, ta-ta, ta-ta. Very nice indeed. I've kind of got one eyeball on this internet connection now. I keep like side-eyeing it. I'm like, just you behave yourself. We really need a cave meetup. Well, I was kind of even thinking about a Scottish one to start with, because that would obviously be quite easy to do. But I'm not really sure in what capacity. Like, I'm not sure how we would organise it and what we would do. Because I would kind of like if I was going to do something like that, I would want to make it something like interactive, like, you know, I would want to do some arting and stuff. So I don't know whether it would be best to maybe like hire a private room or something, and we could maybe do some arting and then have coffee, or maybe something, you know, go for a meal or something afterwards. That would be something that I would like to do if we were going to do that. I say unfortunately, I was talking to Nye about this, because Nye's come from Brazil and she's in the UK just now, and she's really keen on having some sort of meet up, which I would love. But everything's kind of on hold for me just now until I know what's happening with Mama Gem, and I can't plan anything. I've just got to wait and see, because obviously I need to be there for her. Because she's not gonna be in good shape after her surgery. It's gonna be a little while before she's on her feet, and I need to help Papa Jim. So, you know, it's something that I would like to do, but for the time being, I have to just hold my horses, as my gran would say. Just hold your horses. Okay, I'm quite happy with the way this colour's going, and I know it looks really subtle here, but that's exactly what I'm looking for. There is quite a defined line though, so I feel like I need to work in a bit more grey around these areas and a little bit more brown, just so we can really see where that sort of more yellowish part starts, like the softest of soft fur. Yeah, I really need to get a new passport. And we'd compare our travelling pet. Oh, that's what we could do. We could have like a cave homework task and everyone would have to be what their travel supply kit would look like. I love that idea, Ulrika. That's amazing. Student unions are cheap, especially if in summer. That's an excellent point, Martine. When we have our book meetups, we usually go to the pub. Well, do you know, I would love to go to the pub, but number one, that would mean alcohol for me. I can't go to a pub and not drink, and I'm not sure. You know, much as I'm very much myself with you guys, I don't know if you all are ready for like a proper drunk gem. It's one thing in a live stream every now and then, but you know, and also there's people that don't drink as well, so you know. Fingers crossed she'll be up and about in no time. At night, if Mama Gem gets her way, you can guarantee she will be up as quick as she possibly can. That's definitely, I can guarantee that. My mum, I love her. She is a very obstinate and stubborn woman, and she will not be beaten. When she had her knee replaced, she was told that she wouldn't be allowed out the hospital until she had seen the physiotherapist and she could walk up and down the stairs with crutches. You're categorically not getting out of hospital until you've done that, and also until you've been to the toilet and had a number two. Kind of standard procedure after you've had an operation, I'm sure some of you will know. And Mama Gem, I think it was like day 2 or day 3, and she's like, I've had enough, get me out of here, I'm going up and down those stairs. And she did, and the physiotherapist was like, what are you doing, you crazy woman? Mum's like, I can do it, get me out. So I have got faith in her for after her heart surgery, but she is going to need a lot of help for the first wee while, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. And that's one thing. I'm very, very close to my parents, and we've got a very good relationship. Although Papa Gem and I butt heads a lot, but it's just because we're similar. But we're ride or die for each other, and I will be there every step of the way for Mama Gem. And if she doesn't want me and just wants to do it herself, which is frequent with her, then that's okay too. I just want to know that she's got the support and that Papa Gem and I will be there for her for everything. Mary, that's why we meet around noon, so we can get food and have more of a chill than a drink, if that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. We used to do that with my uni friends as well, because quite a lot of us stayed in rural areas, so we had to drive. So we always went for a meal so that everyone could socialise together, and then the ones that were having to drive could pop off if they didn't want to stay and watch everyone else getting drunk. Back in a moment, okay, Ulrika. You may need to tie her down then. I'm assuming you're referring to my mother, Jan. Yes, quite possibly. Nye makes a valid point. She had to make the choice of what to bring for 6 months in the UK. Oh, that would be a horrible decision to make in terms of art supplies. I don't like that. And Martine says, or we could all just camp out in one of your fields, minus the cows preferably. The problem is here, Martine, that most of our fields are full of crops. That's a bit more of a problem. Like, the cows are easier. I'm sure we'd find a wee corner for you somewhere though. Mama Gem is one of those. Jan never had to have a poo after her ops. Well, you're lucky. If you're on a lot of pain medication, it makes you constipated. And certainly here, I've been through quite a few surgeries and they don't let you out until you've had a poop. Or if you're Scottish, a jobby. Because that's the Scottish word for a poop. Jobby. I'm not sure if that's a I knew there was a hair there. I thought I was imagining that, but that is actually one of mine. I thought we were back to this whole squirrel tail effort here. Get off. Yeah, we're kind of descending, like we're literally into toilet humour now, so yeah, good job guys. Okay. Right, I suppose we better tackle this muzzle. So again, this is kind of like a warmer, but it's more into the pinky colour. So I'm going to use the luminance pencil that we've got, the burnt ochre 50%, and I'm just going to go this whole area. And I am filling this in. So everything south of the nose, we'll have that as a wee base layer. This paper's quite toothy though, so we can spend lots of time building up what it is we want. That's kind of the point of the paper. But this actually kind of comes up around here a wee bit, which kind of, it defines the actual nose a bit better. Yeah. I'm a bit happy about this eye. It's not 100% there, but it's better than it was. But I'm going to work on that a little bit more. He looks as if he's trying to grow like pork chops. Oh. No pain meds, just keyhole surgery. Oh, to be fair, I had keyhole and I still had pain meds after it, but that's because they were like chopping bits off me. Yeah, there you go. Thea's just taking the words right out of my mouth, even though I'd already said them. Yeah. See, when you're getting like half an ovary chopped off, they give you pain medication. They give you a lot of it. A lot. Oh, God. That was like, see when I got my hand, well, I had 3 hand surgeries within the space of a couple of weeks, but the one when I was under general anaesthetic, they did everything through that tiny scar there. I've talked about this before. It's such an insignificant scar, but oh my God, actually ruined my life. After your first one, my mum was still alive, so I was not on my own, so allowed out the same day. They asked me to call for my lift, not realising my sister worked in the hospital. Oh, that must have been nice having your sister in the hospital. Thea thought her head took off to space and had to sit up the next day after gastric bypass surgery. Ah, that's hilarious. Oh no, my worst one was, it was definitely after the ovarian surgery. Oh, I was on another planet. I was just not. I have a problem with anaesthesia though, and again, I'm sure we've talked about this once before. I need copious quantities of anaesthetic for it to work, but also the drug that they use to wake you up, it works like that with me. It's supposed to wake you up gradually and gently. It doesn't. I'm back in the room in an instant. And twice I have woken up earlier than planned from a general anaesthetic, and it has been the most traumatic thing ever for me, because you've not been given any pain management, and once I was still on the operating table, getting lifted off onto a gurney. You don't want that in your life, so I have very firm conversations with people now, and with the dentist as well. I had to do that the last time when I had my last wisdom tooth taken out. I haven't had any work done since we've moved, so my new dentist is lovely, he's amazing, but I had to have the chat with him about the anaesthetic, and I'm like, you have to give me everything you've got, otherwise I can still feel it. And he's like, oh well, we'll just go a step at a time and we'll test it. So he gave me all these injections, and he's like, I'm just going to have a little feel. And the minute he poked the little hooky thing in, I was like, and he's like, okay, right, I get you. So that's always an added thing as well, like, oh my goodness, you don't need that either. Jan's was just a knee clearing out, nothing serious. But do you know, it's funny, when my mum had her knee replaced, she said it was like, it wasn't that intrusive, and again, she had a lot of fluid round her kneecap, and she was like, yeah, it was absolutely fine. Thea woke up early having her gallbladder removed. That was disgusting. Yeah, like I feel for you so much with that. Like, oh God. I was very, very upset the first time it happened, because I was obviously in a lot of pain. Didn't know where I was. Didn't know, what week from Wednesday. Welcome, April. I'm sorry. It's all good though, like it's not like anything bad happened, like I'm still here. But I just have to have very firm conversations with anything that involves anaesthetic now. On account of I don't want to have to do that ever again. Ever again. Even when I had the local anaesthetic in my hand, because the first two surgeries I had, I love how I'm showing you my hand, you know it's that hand. The first two local anaesthetic surgeries I had, it was a lot of anaesthetic as well before everything was properly numb. I'm like that with most pain management though, like even if it's tablets or whatever, over the counter stuff, I've got to take an absolute metric butt ton of it for it to make a difference. But apparently my nonno, so my Italian grandfather, he was like that. And he he had bowel cancer. He died of bowel cancer, and back in the dark ages, he was sent home because there was nothing they could do for him, and the doctor used to make house visits. And this is Papa Jem told me this story because he died shortly before I was born. And the doctor had visited, and Nonno was sitting up, and he was talking away, and he was talking in Italian, and he was yapping away to my nonna in Italian, and the doctor was gobsmacked and said to my dad, like, you do realise he's got enough like pain medication in him that would knock out an elephant, and there is no way that he should be sitting up and be lucid. And it was enough to make him feel better, but so I don't know whether it's a hereditary thing, but quite a few people have said that's quite a common trait in people with ADHD, which, as we all know, pretty suspicious about the neurospicy bit. But either way, it's just a bit inconvenient, but it's annoying when people don't listen to you when you're trying to tell them. Because I've had a doctor poo-poo me before, and then say woke up on the operating table, and I was like, told you. Like, you're lucky I don't see your ass. But yeah, I'm thinking about Mama Jem now, because this is going to be a big surgery for her. She totally took her knee surgery in her stride, like it just wasn't a thing for her. I think this is going to be different though, because obviously it's a bit more intrusive, etc. But she'll hopefully do pretty well if she gets her way. she'll do well. Right, I just want to put a wee layer of grey down here, and then I'm going to call it quits after that, because it's after 5 now. But I just want to get, because I mean technically, I mean Chubs is a grey squirrel, but it definitely somewhere along the breeding line there's been a little red squirrel that sneaked in, because he's got far too much ginger in him for that not to be the case. Again, very good with genetics and breeding. Definitely some red squirrel DNA in there somewhere. I'm going to sharpen this again. I want to keep these lines really fine and nice. Jan says, the second one I lived on my own, so had to stay overnight. I'll lie next time and say I live with someone. They'll still make someone come and pick you up though, Jan. Thea thinks it's hereditary, and yes, an ADHD thing. Well, that's me. Ulrika, I'm back. Lots of cats. Leftover chicken. Goodness me. Is it quite cold down with you as well then, Ulrika? I know it's cold here today. We've not really gotten we've had reasonably mild temperatures during the day here. Maybe slightly higher than normal, but it's still dropping really cold at night. But today we've not got much above freezing today, which I'm okay with in January. I'm fine with that. Okay. So I'm just kind of greying everything out a little bit here. Go easy on these lighter patches under here. Need to start to make him a bit more cohesive on the next go round. Make him look less like a patchwork quilt. Patty will just go softly, softly under here. Still got his mouth to deal with as well. We'll do that another time though. I would like to set aside time probably next week. I've got a house full of visitors this weekend, so I'm not going to get much peace this weekend. But maybe into next week, I'd like to set aside some time to work on this on my own, and also the gouache painting as well. Even if it's just to push it on a little bit, that would be really good. I would like that. But I will have to wait and see what happens with work and all those other things. Ulrika, outside greenhouse thermometer reads 2. That's chilly enough, let's face it. Athea, my heart breaks when I think about all the kitties without homes. Well, I'm right into the Maltese idea of having like the outside cat hotels. There were so many of them when they were there. I think that's something that we need to do here too. Maybe you could do one in Austria. Right guys, I am going to call it there. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out this afternoon. Like it's cheered me up so much. I've still got a sore head and I'm still tired. But this has been nice because again, on a Wednesday sometimes I'm just on the go from, you know, like 6 o'clock in the morning right through until I plonk my bum in this chair to chat with you guys and do some arting. So it's been really nice. I feel much more relaxed now as well. So I feel as if it's not like a wasted day, if you know what I mean. I mean, I do like to be productive and I do like to get things done even on a day off, but you know, all of us have to take a break or slow down at some point. And I feel I've managed to do that today, so thank you very much. I'm sorry we didn't get much more arting done, but my brain is like literally in reverse today, so I can only apologise for that. But we shall soldier on nonetheless. So I'm hoping that we will have a YouTube video on Sunday, and I may have a couple of reels up on Instagram and or TikTok. I don't think very many of you are on TikTok, but I post the same reels on TikTok that I do on Instagram so that no one misses out. So I'm hoping to have 1 or 2 of those up, and then we'll have our live stream next Wednesday as well. Not really sure what's happening after that. I'll kind of find out when I get there next week. Just depends what happens with work, but that's where the pennies are, so that's what we've got to do. -1, Thea. Slightly on the chillier side. Oh, Ulrika, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Ooh, I know what's in this parcel. Relaxing can be productive, and yeah, but not usually for me, no, but yeah. Yeah, move the laptop. That is like priority number 1 tomorrow, Jan. Absolutely, I'm moving it. Patty's missed everything you're going to have. There's gaps as well, Patty. You're going to have to just stick it out if you want to see everything. Right, let's have a little show of other hands for the Wednesday crew. There we go. Yeah, Patty's right in there with the other hands already. Definitely going to have an other hand sticker, like that's a thing. Now, I really appreciate you all coming in and hanging out this afternoon, so thanks guys. So hopefully we'll see you back in the cave soon for some more arty stuff, probably more pencils. But enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, however much you have left of it, and we'll see you all really soon, guys. Bye for now.